Welcome to Technical Finger Tutorials, and we are making progress with our demo song. We have laid out some VST instruments, a bit of a drum beat, we've got piano, and we've got some bass and strings. I'd like to have my drum beat on the bottom, followed by the bass, and working our way up. So what I'm going to show you in this video is how to make sounds a little bit more exciting. So if we take our piano part, just to begin with, fairly plain simple piano sound. I would certainly encourage experimentation. It's highly unlikely that you're going to break anything. So if we click on our E button here, this is going to bring up our channel window, and we've got inserts rack down the left hand side, and we've got sends rack down the right hand side. So to start with, I'm going to deal with inserts, and this is basically plugins, little toys that we can use to affect the sound sonically, timbrally, and provide a little bit more interest. So to begin with, just by way of demonstration, we might just have a mess around with some distortion. So we've got Quadrafuzz's distortion unit. There are loads and loads of presets which you can flick through on there, or you can just start fiddling with knobs and buttons. You can see that this is separated into 4 pieces, 4 bands as such, which affect different parts of the frequency spectrum, but this is all on the piano, and we've got different buttons to push. So you can hear that starting to affect the sound. So we can just fiddle with some of these controls and parameters until we're happy. So we've got, as I say, sort of distortion. You can categorize these plugins and toys. You know, Amp Simulator is just another kind of distortion unit, again, with loads of different presets, which are primarily for guitar or voice maybe. But I would, again, urge you just to experiment, try things out, have a go. And you can hear that you're going to be able to achieve a drastically different sound to the original preset that's coming off the VST instrument. So on this side here, basically the signal, the piano sound, is going to come into the top, and it's going to go through these plugins in the order in which they are listed. So for example, if we move the plugins around into a different order, you can hear there's a slightly different sound there because it's going, depending on which plugin it's going into first. The affected sound from Quadrafuzz is then going to go into Amp Simulator, or the affected sound from Amp Simulator will then go into Quadrafuzz. I mean, in this instance, we probably wouldn't necessarily need both, but I'm just showing you how to play, how to fiddle with things, and see whether you're getting a more interesting sound. So chorus is a modulation effect. The easiest way to describe how that works is to just sort of listen to it, really. So if we disable, we're just going to bypass these 2 plugins, so as we've got chorus only. And you can hear that gives it a little bit of a wobble. So again, it's just something which is a little bit more interesting. And again, there are lots of parameters which we can fiddle with and just mess around with. Probably sounds better without that one, to be honest. So yeah. That means that the sound which we're getting out of the fader is going to be the affected sound. So the other, that's inserts. The other bits show you on this side, sends, is a slightly different way of achieving effects. So what we're going to do there, I am going to play around with some delay. But there's a particular reason, a couple of reasons as to why I'm not going to put the delay as an insert on this channel. What I'm going to do is create a new channel. So again, right click down at the bottom, we're going to add an effects track, and Mod Machine is a delay unit built into Cubase. Configuration at the moment set to mono. I'd like a stereo channel for that to go to, and then if we want to, we can name that particular send. So that's going to load us a plugin, but it's not going to load us a plugin on this channel. It's going to load the plugin on its own channel. So F3 will bring up our mix window, and you can see that now we have this delay channel. This is the new send channel which we've created. So what we're going to do now, either from this window over here, we can send the signal to the delay. It's grayed out at the moment, which means it's not on. So we're going to turn that on, and this orange bar here is the amount of signal that we're sending to the delay unit. But what we also want to do is, on the plugin, on the send channel, we're going to find the dry wet mix knob, and we're going to make it 100% wet. So coming through this channel is only what's coming off of the delay. So with that connected, we'll be able to hear what's going to happen with that delay. If we change the delay parameter from whole 1 to half, it's going to get quicker. So Mod Machine is a modulated delay, so you can hear that there's some funky stuff going on with the delays themselves. Just by way of demonstration, if we let's add, so on our send channel, we'll disable Mod Machine and we'll just load a more simple delay. So stereo delay will do us. Again, there are presets for these, like there are on VST instruments, so you can flick through a bunch of those, or you can fiddle with the parameters on the plugin itself. So again, we're going to make it totally wet, and there's a couple of other toys on this. So feedback on a delay is basically how long is that delay going to last for? How long is it going to keep repeating? So if we take that down a little bit, you'll notice that the reflections are occur for less a shorter period of time. This particular plugin's also got a couple of other knobs down the bottom here, so you've got low filter and high filter. If we turn the low filter up, so this effectively like a high pass, so that means that the delays are now not going to contain anything below 800 Hertz. So you can hear that delays are now thinner. Same thing at the top end. We could, if we wanted to, we could just bring this filter down so that now nothing above whatever we set this to is going to be coming through. So that's going to make life a little bit darker for the piano delays. Now this filtering thing, basically that's what's going on with, if we go back to Mod Machine, that's what's going on with Mod Machine, but the filters move. So there's an LFO, a low frequency oscillator, which is moving the position of the bandpass filter. So you can hear it kind of opening and closing as the delays occur. And if you're listening in headphones, you will probably notice that there's a bit of movement between left and right on the stereo field as well. Again, we can fiddle with the filter, so we can make that a little bit brighter. We can fiddle with the feedback. We've also got drive there, which is going to give the reflections a slightly grittier sound. Personally, I love delay because it can create sort of new melodies, and it just inspires ideas. Delay's just great. So again, straight away, there's a bit more flavour with a few toys, a few clicks, a little bit of fiddling, and we've got a piano which is now sounding different to just straight off of Hallion, the basic GM acoustic piano preset. So if we apply a similar sort of principle to the bass, let's just take a loop range. So we're going to highlight the parts which we want. We're going to hit P, which is going to set the locator range around the highlighted parts. We've got the backslash can toggle loop on and off, or this button at the bottom on the transport can toggle loop on and off. So now we've got that looping round. We can open up our channel and start applying some plugins to that as well. So again, I might look at some distortion. This time the amp sim might come into play a little bit better. And again, we've got a little bit of gruffness. We've got some flavour going on with that. Again, we can change some of these parameters, see what it sounds like if we start fiddling with things. Now, it might feel a little bit like we're imbalanced, which we definitely are at the moment. So if we hit F3, that's going to bring up our mixer. And we've got input fader over here. So this is the signal coming into the machine. This is me talking to you. So I've got my microphone plugged into an audio interface. More on that in future videos. So we've got our master output over here, the stereo out. This one is our delay channel, the effects end, which we just set up. And then we've got faders for each of the elements which we have in the arrangement. So we can keep tweaking with these, but you will notice that as you add plugins in, so you can see the plugins up here where it says inserts. These are all the plugins which we've added in. And you can see and hear that by adding in some of these plugins, that's given us a different output level from the channels. So something that we'll need to manage and we will come to in future videos. But just for a quick balance, then you can raise or lower the volumes of each channel. F3 for your mixer, that brings you to this, and you've labeled everything so you know what's what. But just to show you as well, we could go to the actual synth that we're getting things off, and there is a volume control as well as some other parameters which we can fiddle with. So we've had a look at some plugins. And there are other ways. We could load more inserts onto our string channel to try and spice that up a little bit. Solo the string just for a mo. Or we could go into the synth itself, and there'll probably be some parameters for us to play with. So again, I would encourage you to do that. So just fiddle, see what stuff does. So you can hear that that's changing the tone or colour. Brilliant. If we take that down, we'd expect it to get a bit darker maybe. Reverb tail delay. So you can hear hopefully, and reverb mix, we turn it up a little bit. It takes a little while for that tail to subside, the decay on the reverb. We can change the size of the reverb on that. So there might be a few little parameters which you can fiddle with on the actual synth itself, which are going to give you a tonal change. Or we can, keep adding in plugins on the insert rack. So let's have a little look at some modulation maybe. Let's have a look at, let's have a go with a flanger on a string, why not? So again, there might be some presets, and that might be a starting point. And what do you know? Flange your strings. There is a preset which someone has put together and programmed, which apparently is going to sound fairly good on some strings. So let's give that a go. Again, we're just playing. We're just fiddling with things to see if it's going to make it sound different in a positive way, if we want to keep that or not. It might be that we decide we want a different different preset. That's got a bit more of a distinctive movement about it. You can kind of hear the sort of flangey, phasey effects sort of running up and down the frequency range. So, yeah, we might keep with some of that. So again, quite quickly, we're starting to get some change, some development, some progress. We can fiddle with various toys, plugins, parameters, the synth itself, start developing the sounds a little bit more to our flavour. And that should help with progress and development and start inspiring some new ideas. So yeah, hopefully you found that useful. If there is anything that you would like to be shown or demonstrated, or anything that you're not sure about how to do and you like a video about it, then please drop a comment in the comment section. Other than that, I'll see you on the next video, and we can talk about recording instruments and vocals.